obviously got its stand from a legal point. But I think from a corporate point of view, we still have to break the stereotype which is around us. For any organization, for any colleague, I'm going to go down to that level and say that for a colleague, it is their responsibility to make their other colleagues more comfortable. Your responsibility as an HR, as a people person, as an organization starts when you start normalizing these conversations first of all. I would go up to the extent of normalizing conversations which are typically female. Why should I feel unsafe or embarrassed saying that I need to take a leave today because I've got my periods? It's a very normal thing. It starts from normalizing conversations like that. Only when you start having these conversations around, I'm trying for a baby, and what's wrong with that? Starting conversations which are happy, which are normal, will also give chance for awkward conversations to come into place. So what we can do as an organization, as people, is spend time with people, make enough programs where we are making people aware that no kind of harassment, whether you're a woman or a male, that it will be tolerated at any cost. And which is why I said one of the first things that we are putting into our diversity is also no tolerance policy. And that's where, once they realize that the corporate or the organization is ready to hear you, listen to you, take an action on whatever you are bringing up, that's when they will be able to have these conversations even at the beginning of it. We've reached a place where we are actually able to have a conversation where they are feeling harassed, not just sexually or not just physically, but even at their work where they don't feel they get a voice on the table. Like, I went through a meeting, I sat quiet throughout, nobody let me put my hand up. And that's when we intervene and we spend time with that team and make them understand how important it is for each and every person, regardless of gender, regardless of role, regardless of whatever they're bringing onto the table, to at least have a voice on the table. And these are some of the small things that we are doing. For us women over here and even outside, one of the first things I'll tell is that you can only be your own voice. Nobody can bring it out of you.
That's very important.
If you have a problem, if you have something which is bothering you, something which is making you awkward, till we don't talk about it, nobody will talk on behalf of us. You'll have advocates once you open your mouth, but not before you do. So bring out and you encourage your women friends, girls friends to have a voice as early as being in school, as early as where you all are as well. And that's how you'll build a culture outside as well. There are a few things that I wanted to bring out. One is on a very practical level. Now the IC is being trained on removing their own biases as well. So we undergo not just one training, but we have trainings every quarter to make sure, and we take case studies and everything to make sure that the entire committee is coming bias-free as much as possible. So that's the corporate's investment that needs to be there, that the IC that you represent over there is not biased at all. That is one part of it. The other advice to everybody is, one is that I think your education should start from college. Maybe it can become a part of debates, conversations that you have in college as well, that POSH is an important compliance which is out there, but it is also a mindset which you all need to be aware of. So have those discussions, call people who have been having, are on IC, have faced all these things, and what are some of the things that you can do. As somebody who puts up a complaint, believe me, whether it's a male or whether it's a man or a woman, it's equally difficult. So that stigma which you feel you're going to get, whether you're the perpetrator or you are the victim, it's going to be the same. Let's also understand that it's not easy to come up to the IC and say that this happened to me. So that stigma goes with both parties. First and foremost, I think we need to understand who defines the value. It's the individual who defines the value. What am I bringing onto the table, and what does the organization expect out of you? 90% of the time, like you are saying, the conception that I'm not bringing value onto the table happens when there's a the expectation mismatch. So you've gotten into a job expecting that XYZ is going to be done, or this is what I'm going to be bringing to the table, whereas the organization has expected ABC. And when that happens, there is always this feeling that you are not bringing the value. There are two ways to look at it. One is that always go and have a conversation as to make your job description, your expectations absolutely clear when you're starting a job. Tell me, what am I supposed to do? What does my job entail? That's the first thing. Always get the context around whatever you're talking about. And if at the end of the day, if you're doing whatever you have to, and you still feel that you're not deriving value, it's absolutely okay to move on. It's not a taboo anymore where you are moving on because you feel that either you're not valued or you're not bringing value to the table. So both the ways are sensible ways to go for.